Alright guys, as you can see, we've got the center in the garage today up on all four jack stands, all four wheels off, because we are preparing to go on a road trip in a couple weeks. We're actually going up into Utah with a detour through the Grand Canyon. We're going to go to Zion National Park and then head west, or I'm sorry, we're going to head east, past Bryce Canyon, and into Colorado. And then when we get to Colorado, we're actually going to do a little track day. There is a track in Grand Junction, Colorado. It's called Grand Junction Motor Speedway, and it is actually made for go-karts, but it's wide enough and roughly maybe just under a mile long, and you can run cars on it. So they do track days up there all the time, and I like to get up there maybe once a year since that's my hometown, and just, you know, see some people again and run some laps around the track. So to prepare for that, we are doing a brake pad change to something that's a little more suited for track days. They're not like a super track pad. I'm not going to push the car too hard when I'm on the track. It's something better than whatever was on it. So we're just going to do that. We're also doing stainless brake lines from TDMI, and we're doing Motul RBF 600 for the fluid, and we're going to do a full flush. Along with that, I've been having some issues lately with, especially when it's warmer, like the car is warmed up and you've been driving it for a little while, the clutch gets kind of sticky. So I'm just going to go ahead, it looks like the fluid hasn't been changed in forever, and who knows how long the slave cylinder's been there. I mean, it looks like it's been there the whole life of the car. So we're going to do a full clutch hydraulics change. We're going to do a new slave, new OEM Nissan master cylinder, and a braided line for that as well, and also do Motul fluid in that. So right now I've got the wheels and tires off. We are going to go ahead and replace all of the brake pads, get that done. This should be great, and we'll just throw some clips in here so you can kind of see roughly what I'm doing. Other than that, like the car as it sits, if I wasn't doing the track day, I would totally, even with the slightly sticky clutch, I would still probably take it on the road trip, because it runs that good. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, so I'm on the left front here. I've already got the caliper and the brake pads off. It looks to me like the sliders are probably good. They feel good, so I'm not going to need to pull those out and lube them. Here's the pads that came off of them. They look pretty brand new, actually. I don't know what type of pads they are. All right, here are the new pads. They are Dynamic Friction Active Performance. I don't know how well they're going to do on track, but I guess we'll find out. New hardware. And I'm not going to replace the rotors because I think these rotors are fairly new too. I think they're about as old as the pads that I just took off of it. So I think as long as I bed these pads in properly, we should be okay. All right, there we go. Pads and hardware in, caliper back on. So let's go ahead and switch to the passenger front. All right, here's the passenger side done. Since I figured out what to do on the other side, this one took like 2 minutes tops. Was able to pull the old pads out, whip the new ones in, put the hardware, get the caliper back on, done. So now we'll move to the rear. All right, here's the rear all done. Took a little while because you gotta kind of fight with the parking brake cable. And also the caliper on this is the twist type. So using some needle nose to twist it is not easy, but I got it done. All right, so I've gone on ahead and pulled the clutch pedal out. I didn't need to pull it completely out to change the master cylinder, but I just wanted to check because on these, they are known to crack on the back side here. So I just wanted to make sure that there were no cracks, which there are not, so we're good there. And yeah, we'll go ahead and start getting the master swapped out.
Day 2.
All right, day 2 update. I have actually already gone around and installed all of the brake lines, all the new brake lines. I didn't do any filming in the middle of that because I was just concentrating on making sure that I got everything tight and installed correctly. So I'll go ahead and show you now what the result was of that. And then we're actually getting ready to start bleeding, and I'll show you what I'm going to use for bleeding. All right, so here's the passenger front. You can see the line coming off there and going around. It uses like a plastic fitting to attach to the front strut. So basically that's one of the front brake lines in. And then here's the rear brake line going back and around and connecting right there. And then here's what I am using for bleeding. So I was gonna borrow my brother for a day to see if he could help me, but I think this might be fairly easy. I saw this guy on Amazon. It had good reviews, so using this guy, I can actually bleed myself. It's got a check valve in here, or a ball valve, whatever you want to call it, so that it doesn't suck air back into the system after you let the pedal off. And it actually has a magnet on the back here, so that you can just magnet it to something so it'll hold itself. And that way you can pump the pedal and not have to hold the bottle. So I'm gonna go ahead and go around and bleed all of the brakes. And actually, that was the left front that I showed you where the bottle is, but I'm actually gonna go to the passenger rear because that's farthest away from the master cylinder. And then we'll work our way to the driver rear, and then to the passenger front, and then to the driver front. We'll do that one last. All right, so the brakes are finished, and I've actually already started on the clutch hydraulics. So what I actually did was I just disconnected these wiring harnesses here, and then the clip that holds the harness, and just moved it out of the way and just kind of finagled everything out of there. I also had to disconnect the lines where they go into the bracket right here. Here you see the old master. We're gonna have to reuse the reservoir and this hose right here. Here's the new master. We'll transfer that hose and the reservoir, and then put it into the car and get it secured with the clutch pedal first, and then we'll work on the line. All right, so there's one thing I'm gonna have to deal with. So you see all that crud down there in the bottom of the reservoir? I'm gonna have to clean that out. Unfortunately, I don't have any brake cleaning right now. There's a little bit left in this bottle right there, but there's not enough aerosol in it, so it doesn't spray anymore. So I'm just gonna go get some brake clean and probably continue this tomorrow, just so I can flush this out. But that's one of the things that I wish that I was able to do with the brake master, because you can see it's still a little dark, but the fluid coming out of the lines when I was bleeding it was clear. No way to flush out the master and get all the crud that's in the bottom of it, so it is what it is. So yeah, I'm gonna go get some brake clean, and we'll continue this tomorrow.
Day 3.
All right, day 3, I went and got some brake cleaner. So here's the cleaned out reservoir, looking fairly white again, reusing that hose. And then I got the Nisformance stainless line hooked up to it here, so we will go ahead and put it in the car. All right, there it is down in there, just hanging out for right now. And we will go ahead and put the clutch pedal back in and get everything bolted back up. All right, before the flashlight dies, clutch pedal is in, all hooked up and ready to go. So we'll just get the line hooked up to the slave. All right, so you can kind of see it in there. I've got the new slave. So we'll just attach the line. All right, got the line in. As you can see it running here. And then I've got it running down there. I ran it through the old connection point for the rubber hose and the hard line for the old clutch line, right through this hole here. I'm worried that might chafe it a little bit from vibration, so I'll put a little bit of, I'll get some rubber hose to put around the line so that it protects it a little bit better. As you can see, got it hooked to the slave here. Everything's all tightened down. All right, slave is all bled. Everything's all bled. Didn't see any more air bubbles coming out of the hose, so I figure it's okay, but we'll know once we attempt to drive it. So there's a few more things on my list I want to get done before the trip, and one of them is going to be I want to do a cleaning of the throttle body. I bought a gasket so that I could take it off, clean it, and put it back on, so we'll probably do that right now. And then also I'm going to do a oil change. I thought about switching to 5W40 because it gets so hot here in the summertime, and I just wanted a little bit better protection once it's warmed up. I couldn't find it anywhere. O'Reilly's had it in just the regular quart bottles, but they're like 11 or 12 bucks a piece, and I'm not going to spend over 50 bucks when I can get a 5-quart jug for 35. You know, it just doesn't make any sense. I went ahead and just got 530 for now, and we'll just keep running 530 on this change, and then I'll just have to order the 540 off the internet or something. So let's go ahead and get the throttle body off. Alright, got it off. Here's a look inside the intake manifold. The throttle body. If you can see that. Not completely terrible, but I'm going to go ahead and clean it anyway. Alright, there we go. Much, much better. And here's the new gasket. And we'll get everything put back on. Alright. Clutch is bled. Run through. I did find some rubber hose to put through here so it protects the line. So we're good there. Cleaned the throttle body, put the intake back on, reconnected the battery. Everything is back together inside. Everything's tight here on the slave cylinder. I did get the oil changed. I didn't show it to you guys because you know what an oil change looks like. Wheels are back on. I did rotate the tires while I had them off. And I think we are ready to get it off of the jack stands and go for a little drive. So the brakes actually feel okay, and I can say without a doubt that the clutch definitely feels a lot better than it did before, because when it got warm it would actually stick a little bit as I was releasing it, but now it's nice and smooth and there's no sticky spots. Yeah, so far I would say everything is good. Brakes feel good. Clutch feels amazing. So that was the one thing that I was the most worried about, was the clutch. So we're good on that. As you can see, the steering wheel actually is kind of slightly off to the left. So I think we'll go back to the apartment and throw the toe plates on it and just see where the alignment sits. But yeah, extremely happy. So we'll see you guys back at the apartment. Alright, just threw the toe plates on it real quick just to check it. So I don't know how accurate it is because the spokes on these wheels stick out, so you can't really get it like super flat. But according to my measurement, we are roughly a 1/4 inch toed in. Now I don't like trying to do alignments on lowered cars, especially, you know, on the ground like this, because there's just not enough room, especially since the tie rod ends on these are on the back side. These cars, that's pretty much the only thing you can adjust with roughly stock suspension, right? The back is torsion beam, so it's non-adjustable. And the front, there's no caster adjustment, there's no camber adjustment. And so the only thing you can really adjust is the toe. And the last alignment I got, I went to Network Automotive and they charged me $200 for a modified alignment, and all they were adjusting was the freaking toe on the front. So that's a ripoff, and if I can find someone else this week that can get me in to do a quick toe adjustment, just make sure the steering is straight and won't charge me $200, I'm going to try and do that. If not, then it's okay. Like I said, it's a little darty, but also it has bumps here because of the lowering and stuff, so the tires don't seem to be wearing that abnormally. So if I can get in, great. If not, then it is what it is. So I'm just letting it cool down a little bit, letting the oil settle so I can recheck the oil level, just make sure it's good. But other than that, I think we are pretty good. Thanks for joining me on this. I know I don't show a lot of what I'm doing, but it's not really a how-to video, and it's hard to film when I'm by myself in a small garage working on the car. So yeah, thanks for joining me, and keep an eye out for that next video.